here. Get your hands on your heads. Get off the bar and get on the wall. What's my name?
Popeye Doyle. If he doesn't like you, he'll take you apart. And it's all perfectly legal, because Doyle fights dirty.
You want to take a ride there, fat man?
And plays rough.
Anybody want a milkshake?
Doyle is bad news, but he's a good cop.
We're going now. Bye.
How many times have I been downhearted, looked up and saw him smiling like a shining dime? Yeah. And hoped that he would stay and tell me why he was so happy if he had the time.
Who is that clown?
Jewish lucky.
What about the last of big-time spenders? You make him?
No, you?
He's spreading it around like the Russians are in Jersey. They say we stick around and give him a tail.
Our friend's name is Boca, Salvatore Boca, B-O-C-A. Well, downtown, they're pretty sure he pulled off a contract on a guy named DeMarco.
If that's not a drop, I'll open up a charge for you at Bloomingdale's.
B-O-C-A. Doesn't register.
And then on our own, after working a whole day and night, we tail him to Brooklyn. And we sat on him for practically a week. Now, who do we come up with?
The French Connection. A millionaire exporter with a record too clean to be true. And Doyle knows it. But he's been known to make mistakes.
Your hunches have backfired before, Doyle.
This time, he can't afford to be wrong.
I know the deal hasn't gone down. I know it hasn't. I can feel it. I'm dead certain.
Last time you're dead certain, we went with a dead cop.
All right, let's hit him. Hit him! All right, nobody move. Put your hands in the air.
The stakeout.
Popeye, it's me, it's me.
The payoff. The chase.
Don't stop. Hey, Coke, you all right?
French Connection.
One thing I've learned, podcast calmly, podcast cautiously, and you'll never be sorry. And I sure as hell am not sorry that today, Fine Movies, Fine Spirits is here to discuss a movie that, even though it dates all the way back to the beginning, just the beginning of the 70s, feels like the most 70th movie ever. And I mean that in the best way possible as we talk about the 1971 William Friedkin classic, The French Connection. And for me, my connection to France this evening is a nice glass of red wine that I'm currently enjoying. And whilst I'm here for two reasons, talking movies and drinking, I am doing neither one alone. As usual, I go with my partners. First up is a man that a recent survey finding showed was the sexiest man on this podcast. That's not from me. That's this survey. My friend Davey. How are you doing this evening and how tall are you? I'm sorry. And what are you drinking?
Listen, I got to figure that out still, but I'm drinking a little bit of Four Roses with a rose. See it?
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Oh,
I like it.
When I asked you how tall you are, and you said you have to figure that out, are you talking?
Did you mean meters?
Are you talking like you don't know how tall you are? Or are you talking about non-podcast related discussions?
No. I just pour a drink on my book.
Next up is a man that on any given day could still be picking his feet in Poughkeepsie, Mr. Christopher Morris. How are you doing this fine February evening, and what is in your glass?
Doing well, Michael. I was thinking of going with the French martini, actually, but I ended up, I saw this IPA that I've had before, but it seemed to be fitting Cloud Candy for what, my favorite guy in the movie. My favorite, not the best character, but my favorite character is Cloudy. What's his name? Cloudy, played by Roy Scheider, the great Roy Scheider.
Cloudy Rousseau?
Yes. Well, that's his real name, right?
Oh, yes.
You didn't know. You're right. Cloudy Rousseau.
Thank you. Dave, close the door while you're podcasting, all right? Don't let anybody in there. The French Connection. Gentlemen, this goes back to 1971. I'm going to jump right into the quick stats. Directed by William Friedkin, written by Ernest Tiedemann, Robin Moore, and Friedkin, starring Gene Hackman, Fernando Rey, Roy Scheider, Tony Lo Bianco, Marcel Bozuffi, and featuring Don Amici's Building. It has a critics score of 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, an audience score of 87%. It has a Metacritic score of 94. It is number 70 on the AFI's greatest American films of all time. On the anniversary edition, it got bumped down to 93. That's just because there are more movies being made. And on a budget of 1.8 million, it had a box office of over 50 million. I read, in one place I read 75. Another place that I trust more, I read 50. The average ticket price in 1971 was just $1.65. So to adjust to inflation based on 2022 prices, it has a box office of over $290 million. That's what it would be today. So it was a massive, massive hit. And that makes sense because it really did well at the 1972 Academy Awards. But before I get into the awards, gentlemen, your thoughts, your first, why did we choose this movie?
Okay, before we get to this movie, let me just give you some quick feedback we had on the last pod.
Oh yes, the Step Brothers.
After hearing the last pod, just the fact that they heard Dave. I've never heard the story that Dave actually said to his mom, my stepmom, how great certain sexual positions felt or were. Yes. And basically just the reaction was, what a creep, what a tremendous creep. That was actually me that heard that again and thought that. Yeah. So hopefully nobody else knows.
Listener Chris Morris writes in.
So, but the other thing I wanted to mention, what's that?
Like you didn't take that off the pod?
No.
The other thing is I talked to your brother Paul. He was going to be on this podcast.
He was?
We very close, but he thought we were doing French Connection too.
Well done.
So he's like, wait, the original. So Dave actually raves about this movie, right? I believe Dave has mentioned it a few times, and I told you guys I had kind of a hot take. Not really, but I admittedly have not seen it in at least 25 years, right? I hadn't watched it on TV. It's kind of amazing. And I said, is it a little overrated? Maybe, I don't know. But watching it again, I'm like, this movie's somehow underrated.
It's underrated.
It's incredible. And Mikey, I actually wrote down what you said, the most 70s movie I have with the question mark. It's just the grittiest 70s, using the extras, the documentary.
I was saying the same
documentary.
Sorry, when I was watching this movie is so 70s. I've seen it probably like 3 years ago, but I think I love it because of the nostalgic feeling I get when I watch it.
Yes, like it's not a what do they call those? Like the movie that is set in a time. I mean, it is that time. It's like
it definitely is.
It's grimy.
It is grimy, right? The gritty.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys during your research saw, like some of the car stuff was just Hackman driving, and there was the extras were research. Yep. The extras were just people. They didn't have a a permission or a license. It seems
like
to
William
film certain places, and they skirted the issue, especially since they had the cops in the movie. They actually had the
actual police officer,
Papa Doyle, the person that Papa Doyle was based on.
Oh, was modeled after a real guy.
Yeah, he played their boss, and Egan, Eddie Egan, and then Cloudy. That's what they call him, Cloudy. So they were they had those guys really, on the set. They were actually in the movie, and then they had when he goes to the bar when he has them all. I guess he has all, a black bar in Harlem or whatever. He those extras were all police
Oh, really?
officers.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they had, they freaking, obviously took advantage of
He
of a
seems to
lot
do
of that.
that.
But
Like he's pretty
yeah,
loosey goosey with the rules and how to, probably the right way to do things or the,
he
just,
didn't mention this stuff. I heard it in my research. He didn't mention it. I had the DVD, which had his, the director's cut, which actually had his commentary. They actually, and then they had
awesome.
one with Gene Hackman. By the way, this was one of the reasons we did it. Also, the GOAT's 95th birthday was last week.
Yeah.
So
yes,
happy birthday, Gene.
So this movie finally got him like the starring role. So
I wondered where this was in his like.
Yeah, well, they didn't.
Career.
He had been in Bonnie and Clyde, and he hadn't had any stuff. Any big starring roles.
Phenomenal. This movie. He was absolutely
great.
Phenomenal in this movie.
He is so right. He's kind of like, he's definitely an anti-hero. Yep. But he's incredible, right? He didn't. It's funny because he and Friedkin went back and forth. He first of all, he didn't want to play such an unlikable character because he's like didn't want to use racial slurs or anything like that. Gene Hackman, too nice a guy. He's like, and then he's also like this guy, you play him so unlikable, whatever. And he wanted to go back and forth. He's like, he's got to have more depth. He can't be so two-dimensional. He was saying to Friedkin, and he's like, no, you play it like that. He's like, he's not going to be believable. It's not going to be, a good role for me. Ended up, like you said, best actor.
And the winner is Mr. Gene Hackman.
That's what it says. Thank you very much. I just want to start at the beginning just for a second and say, sitting out there next to Barbara Harris reminds me of my first acting scene ever was in New York, and the gentleman sitting in front of us when we were doing that scene was my acting teacher, and I just have to mention his name, George Morris, and I want to thank him. Also, Mr. Billy Friedkin, who has already received his prize tonight, but I have to thank him because he really brought me through this when I wanted to quit. And Eddie Egan, who you all know, Mr. Phil D'Antoni, Roy Scheider. Roy?
Shall we touch on the Oscars right now? Yes.
Yeah, go into the Oscars.
So the 1972 Oscars, it won Best Film Editing, Best Writing for Screenplay based on material from another media. So this was a book first. I don't think I realized that.
Based on a true, true guys and a true event.
It was nominated for Best Cinematography and Best Sound, but it also won Best Director for Friedkin. Roy Scheider was nominated. Gene Hackman won Best Actor, and the movie won Best Picture in 1972. And in 1972, this wasn't like, this and a couple forgetful movies. The Last Picture Show, Fiddler on the Roof.
I need to see that.
Clockwork Orange. All these movies came out.
Clockwork Orange is great.
Something called Nicholas and Alexandra. I don't know that. Yeah. Other movies that were nominated: Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. Clute came out that year. So much about the Last Picture Show I see for like nominees.
I need to see that movie. I really can't comment on it. Like, it's one of my blind spots. I've heard great things about it though.
About with the
Last Picture Show.
And Clute,
didn't I think the guy in that one
Best Supporting
Actor.
And it was
so I can't
Jeff
say
Bridges
whether
was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Ben Johnson's the guy who won it. I mean, Best Actors, you got Walter Matthau, George C. Scott, Topol from Fiddler on the Roof, Peter Finch from something called Sunday Bloody Sunday, and Gene Hackman was the winner. And I feel like the 70s is when these movies started to become like this, like the realistic. It wasn't just like, you look at old movies and they're almost like talking like they're in a play. Sometimes like, hey there, mister, all that stuff. Like, this is that gritty we already talked about, but just realism that 70s cinema brought.
Definitely. Another thing I noticed, we had mentioned maybe 48 Hours was like the first buddy cop, but this has a little buddy cop
kind of
element to it, you know?
Please, it's so straight. He's so straight, but
He's so likable. I love.
He's so likable. He's the most likable. He actually anchors.
Well,
this
he's
movie.
almost like his only friend. I think this is what they said about the real Eddie Egan. The other guy says, they were like, "Why do you like Eddie?" And he's like, "Because nobody else will," or something.
That's
so,
awesome.
But you could see.
It seems like that. Yeah.
You could see Cloudy
that feeling,
putting up with him, putting up with him. I just think it's hilarious when he he wants to go home after the beginning scene when they make the bus and he wants to go home and he's like, let's go get a drink. And then when he sees he's actually doing police work, he's like, are you serious? I thought we were just getting a drink. Just that their relationship is great. And then, when he finds him handcuffed to his bed, which is funny.
One of my favorite aspects of this movie is the lack of music.
Oh yeah.
Where it's just the chase scene and the sound of what's actually happening, like, and the realism of those chase scenes. I'm like, how the fuck did they do some of the stuff in the 70s in New York? Like some of that stuff, you are under a train, so you had to coordinate all that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it is. Gene Hackman took that car, went around the thing. I mean, I'm like, he's definitely driving that car at that point. At least
he was, and I think he hit somebody coming out of there driveway or something, because like I said, there wasn't like they didn't everybody didn't know, or they had certain they didn't tell everybody that lived in the area.
That guy was like, hey, when am I gonna get my car back? I don't know, buddy.
Oh yeah.
What are you watching,
I'll
Dave?
go over the plot. So
wait, I want to know what Dave's watching as he's yawning and watching TV.
I've been literally in the clutches of insomnia for the last 2 weeks. I literally had
that sucks.
2 hours of sleep last night. Legit 2 hours.
That blows.
That sucks. Well, you know what? Let me help down. I'm going to give you the plot real quick. Maybe that'll put you. That'll put you out.
Let me say the plot is fairly simple, simplistic. I
would
say.
But it's funny. It's not really. They don't spoon feed it to you.
Don't.
You don't know exactly what's going on.
But it just
pretty
happens.
basic.
It's kinetic. I don't know if that's the right word. It's just like the way it's done.
It's great, and we're going to discuss whether Popeye is really a good cop or not. I mean, he has some good qualities, but all right, we'll get there. All right, in Marseille, a police detective follows heroin smuggler syndicate leader Alain Charnier and is murdered by Charnier's hitman, Pierre Nicoli. Charnier plans to smuggle $32 million worth of heroin into the U.S. by hiding it in the car of television personality Henri Devereaux, who's traveling to New York by ship. In New York, narcotics detectives Jimmy Popeye Doyle and Buddy Cloudy Russo witness small-timer Sal Boca entertaining mobsters involved in narcotics. They tail Boca and his wife and discover there will be a shipment coming in and convince their supervisor to wiretap the Boca's phones. Popeye and Cloudy are joined by federal agents Muldering and Klein. Charnier arrives in New York City. He's tailed by Doyle, realizes that he's tailing him, loses him on the subway. Nicoli insists on assassinating Doyle and attempts to and misses and is pursued by Doyle, who chases the train he's on by car and catches him and kills him on the platform.
Hold it!
After a stakeout, Doyle impounds Devereaux's car, and Cloudy notices the weight of the car is off.
I love that scene.
When it should be. It's one of my favorite scenes. Which leads to them to discover the heroin.
What was the weight of the car when you got it, Irv?
£4,795.
Sure.
That's what it was, 4,795 pounds when it came into the shop.
Owner's manual says 4,675. It's 120 pounds overweight. And when it was booked into Marseille, it was 4,795. That's still 120 pounds overweight. Jimmy's got to be right.
Listen, I ripped everything out of there except the rocker panels.
Come on, Irv. What the hell is that?
They replaced the car. I missed this the first time. They actually replaced the car. back because they damaged it. I didn't even hear that.
I thought, wow, that guy really put it together beautifully.
I know. After Devereaux delivers it to Charnier, they follow them to an old factory and make the swap, replacing the drugs with the money in Chevrolet's car. Sorry. Doyle and the other police show up and either kill or capture most involved. Charnier escapes to a nearby abandoned bakery, which I didn't know either, with Popeye and Cloudy pursuing. Popeye ends up accidentally killing Mulder.
Mulder. You shot Mulder.
The son of a bitch is here. I saw him. I'm gonna get him.
Charnier gets away, we learn from the title cards and the credits, and Popeye and Cloudy get transferred. That's basically...
Now,
yes.
Just going to ask, before we talk more about this, French Connection 2, have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it. No.
I mean, I thought, it's going to be Roy Scheider, but it's Gene Hackman.
I didn't even know that's the thing.
3 years later, 1975, directed by...
There's French Connection 3, too.
John Frankenheimer. Well, I looked that up. French Connection 3 was also a made-for-TV movie for a show that was going to be called Popeye Doyle, starring Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill, yeah. I do remember. So that's much later, obviously.
1986, yeah.
Dave, you know who directs Frankenheimer? Frankenheimer, did you say?
John Frankenheimer did part 2.
He did some big movies. I think he directed The Marathon Man, which we should do sometimes. Also, sorry.
Yeah, I was just looking him up. I mean,
it wasn't like a no-name director did French Connection 2, but I've heard it's a little slow, which I don't know.
The Manchurian Candidate, he's done some big ones, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I've never seen it, never had any interest. Must have gave Hackman a boatload of money.
I would bet.
This is right before Jaws, and this is right before Poseidon Adventure. I'm thinking, right?
Oh my God, Poseidon Adventure. Yes, I think now that I think about it, that's probably the first time I saw Gene Hackman was in that, even before Superman.
So, Friedkin. This is our second Friedkin. Obviously, we did The Exorcist. He might be underrated.
I still need to see Sorcerer.
Sorcerer.
Oh
You do need to see Sorcerer. So do you, Dave. With Roy Scheider.
Oh, geez.
It's incredible how he made the movie. You know, so I mentioned briefly that this was kind of his first big movie. Where I guess he did documentaries with for TV. So that's why it's like documentary
it feels
style.
That way. Like you're right.
Filming.
Like run and gun.
And
I love just when the camera's in the car and the cars and you just turn and there's it's just happens to the guys right there. There's a lot of moments where not much is happening, but all of a sudden people are walking, people are following, and it just I don't know what it is. It just works.
It does. It's funny how you love watching the scene where I guess it was the coldest day of the year in New York City that they filmed where Hackman was outside and he was tailing Charnier. Is that his name?
Charnier.
He was tailing him, and you see the luxury of the criminal. You know what I mean? A little bit cliche, as he had escargot,
French onion soup.
He just calls it onion soup.
Onion soup. What else? Probably some French wine, some desserts.
Did
he have a
dressing.
baguette? The guy at the beginning had a baguette. But it was
what was the beginning? Was that just a cop in France that just happened to get killed?
So yeah, didn't I say that? Oh yeah, I briefly. That cop was just hailing. He was not doing a great job apparently, and his hitman just followed him after he was done going
really,
home.
the worst job of the movie was the train conductor who was like, come on now, let's talk this out. Boom.
Yes. Yeah.
And this movie might be the reddest blood we've
very
had
bad, Jim.
on this podcast.
Yeah, when the guy gets shot in the face.
Yeah, not very good blood.
The blood is super red. Yeah, classic.
Oh, one thing, Friedkin did not want Hackman. I guess he wanted Jackie Gleason originally. Like, can you imagine that? Yes.
See, I just know Jackie Gleason as the big boisterous characters. Like, I've never seen The Sting. Is it The Sting or The Hustler, or is he both?
He's in The Hustler.
The Hustler. I've never seen.
The Sting is great.
The Sting is great.
Great.
But yeah, no, Jackie Gleason. He probably was a decent.
He's a good actor.
He maybe could have done it, but this is a home run getting
this
Hackman.
Movie, who's all Hackman.
He's so good. He's such a scumbag. Also not like.
Just the scene that he goes into and just roughs up all the poor friggin' African American people. It just beats the shit.
So
when he pulled, I was like, one of these guys has to be an inside guy. And then finally they had that guy.
That was great. Yeah, that was great.
On it.
Right. His informant or whoever it was.
No, I said I'm clean, didn't I? I do. You know what happens. Yeah, I said I'm clean. Oh, don't fucking over me. I'll kick your motherfucking ass. You fucking idiot, man. Fucking where? Give me a nickel, man. Come on, give me a nickel. Come on. I told you I'm clean. Man, why the fuck you want to come down on me like that? Come down on me. Oh, man, you motherfucker.
Say no goddamn good shit. How's everything?
Everything's everything, baby.
Hey, how come there's nothing out there, man? That stuff's all milk.
Ain't nothing around. Nobody's holding.
I got a name for you. Cy Boca, Brooklyn.
Boca?
Yeah. B-O-C-A.
Never heard of him.
What about his wife, Angie?
Doesn't register. There's been some talk, though.
About what?
Shipment. Coming in this week after. Everybody's gonna get well.
Well, who's bringing it?
Who knows?
Where do you want it?
Huh?
Where do you want it?
Oh, shit. This side.
Yeah, that's a great scene. One of my favorite scenes, like you said, Mikey, is when they're searching the car. And he's like, notices the weight is off.
That was, they've like all given up. And then he's like, this is the one place I didn't look. He's like, come on.
Yeah. I mean,
and the other guys are, the French guy's waiting, the actor. He's like, oh, come on. There's no smoking. It's just going to take some time.
So that guy doesn't know. I think.
Yeah, he had no idea what he was.
I think he knew something shady was up. I mean, because the guys.
He didn't want to ask. He was just pleading,
right. I
pleading
think
ignorance,
that was it.
I think.
Yeah. And, obviously the car chase, which we'll probably never do To Live and Die in LA, but I implore you guys to see it.
Now, let me ask you, is that the TV
Friedkin.
made movie of Heat? No, that's not. Okay.
It's not a TV movie.
I was thinking that's the Michael
just
Mann.
a Friedkin movie in the 80s
Friedkin
with
Ken Wall?
Speaking of Michael Mann, because who the hell is the guy who starred in Man, what's it called?
Ken Wall.
What's the Hannibal Lecter? Hannibal Lecter.
Brian Cox?
Yeah, Michael Mann movie.
Yeah.
William Peterson. William Peterson.
In Manhunter.
So, yes, Manhunter. He was in To Live and Die in L.A.
Oh.
He was the star. And that has an incredible car chase, much like this one. I love how this, I kind of forgot it was just not cars. You know what I mean? It was the train.
Car chasing the train.
Yep. It was awesome.
One of the, it was a quick scene, but.
And
what's that, Dave?
The epic gunfight at the end.
That was great.
Yeah, so that's, pretty bad job by, I would blame the FBI guy, though.
Slunking around.
Yeah, I agree.
They didn't know he was in there, but Doyle didn't seem too bothered that he shot and killed an FBI agent.
I know. I was like, oh, this is going to come back. Oh, no, he just got reassigned. Okay, good.
But also, right, he's, that, so obviously the main, I didn't really even mention, the main theme was like Doyle's obsession. You know what I mean? Like he doggedly pursued everything. You know what I mean? He had no life.
No,
No Life didn't make a lot of money. He just his boss said, all you do was had the most like small time arrests, just small time
nickel and
narcotics
dime guys. Yeah,
exactly. So like, he wanted this big score,
and he did something with got a guy killed once. They brought that up a couple times.
That's another thing. So yeah, probably not the most beloved character.
I'm sure the people in the town don't trust them all that well because they'll chase you down and kick you, like Roy Scheider just kicking that guy down.
Well, the guy stabbed him.
Oh,
the guy did stab him. The guy did stab him.
That's true. He did.
Which
gonna mess up his bowling game.
Yeah, which Roy
Scheider had one of my favorite little parts when he goes down into the garage and he turns right into the guy and just says, I'm looking for my. For a second, I thought, oh my God, he's working with him. And he just says it so perfectly, like, I'm just looking for my guy, looking for my ticket.
Can't seem to find the damn ticket. Where's the guy?
Just getting my card from the back.
That was great. I loved just like you said, the most basic, like the stakeout, you're like watching and you're like, it's just entertaining of him not getting caught. And then obviously on the subway when
the cat and mouse
the guy outsmarts him was pretty.
That was so cool. And
it was pretty cool.
He
gives him the wave.
Does he know? And then he does the wave. And then that callback.
Yes.
When they think they get away and they come over the road, over the hill.
And then, of course, the guy does get away. So
I know, right? But he does the little wave back. I was like, oh, get him.
Yeah.
It's like, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess part 2 is him going to France to look for him.
Yeah, someone should watch that.
I know. No. I guess it's the same guy. He's back. So.
Oh, so the funny thing about that actor, Francisco Rey, is that what you said?
Yep.
Or Fernando Rey, or
it is Fernando Rey.
Fernando Rey. Frank freaking saw a French movie. I think it was a French movie, and that guy's not even French.
Really?
He saw a movie. He confused the actors that were in it.
That's funny.
And he said, "I want this guy. I want Fernando Rey." And he showed up. He didn't even recognize him. He didn't even know, like, he wanted to get somebody else in the movie. And this guy was Spanish. And he said, he's like, well, we may as well just keep him, even though he didn't speak French.
Because he's already, I was trying to look up to see who's still with us, but not
Gene, the great Gene.
Oh, Gene. Yeah, besides Gene, so far everyone else, even Tony LoBianco, he just passed away last year. I don't know if the young wife, she's Angie Boca.
Yep. Mrs. Boca. That was great. I loved when they were listening to the wire to the phone, and they just dying laughing. That was a great scene.
It really is a simple premise. This movie is so simple. Hour and 39 minutes, whatever it is. The plot's simple. It's just literally bad guys, good guys.
It just feels realistic, and it's like the scenery plays.
It's a part of the movie.
Yeah,
scenery,
so cool.
To your point, Mikey, the lack of music, it's just
I love that.
Like almost like a documentary. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
At one point, you're just watching Gene run after him, and there's no sound. You just hear his feet going. It's like
and you can hear them winded, and like when they were chasing the guy to get him.
Yep.
I'm like, they're never gonna catch this guy. These guys are 2 middle-aged white guys, not gonna catch this guy.
They did a pretty good job for his lifestyle. Roy's
in great shape, anyways. He was in great shape in Jaws. 4
He
years.
was a boxer in real life. I mean, yeah.
Born in 1932, so at this
that.
point he is 39 years old. Roy Scheider's 39 years old when this came out.
He's one of the greats. He's underrated.
He just typecast. Yeah, once he was Brody, that's all most people see him as.
Kind of. But I mean, I think I think I saw all that jazz.
I was just gonna say that's.
But it's supposed to be. He seems like he did an amazing job.
And
I'm just opening up a
Blue
beer.
Thunder. That's another one I think of with him. I don't know if that's any good.
Did you ever see 52 Pickup?
No.
What?
I've seen nothing. What are you are you really shocked that I haven't seen something called 52 Pickup?
Only because who is in it? Let me see. Because of the nude scene. 86.
Oh, well, here we go.
I would have assumed.
Maybe I've seen part of it then.
53 on Rotten Tomato. Vanity is in it.
Vanity is in 52 Pickup? The Vanity from Action Jackson?
Yes. Wow, John Frankenheimer directed that too.
Oh, John Glover's in it. Come in.
Yeah, he's great. It's underrated. My brothers and I at least liked it in 1986 when you were watching your Fraggle Rock.
Yes, I completely. Yes, that's the year I outgrew Fraggle Rock. 1986. Sure. Yes. I didn't almost do a podcast called The Fraggle Talk.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not. The idea came up.
Do you think he's kidding? Dave, do you think he's kidding?
I'm talking about a decade ago. I actually made the logo and I never did anything with it.
I almost stopped being his friend, but then I'm like, you know what? He's never going to change.
But then he got some free time on his hands and now he wants to be my friend again.
Ugh.
Funny how that works.
No, but I'm so glad we did the great
this movie. And I have to say, the first 5-10 minutes, I'm going, I do like this, right? Like I do remember liking this, right? And then it just keeps going. I'm going.
I honestly didn't even remember it was so long ago.
It's a perfect movie, like when it's shitty out and you want to watch a good movie inside and just comforting. I love it. I love this movie.
Hackman is just so.
But the Sting is great too.
Compelling.
I love the Sting too. Now that you bring it up, I love the two of them.
Yeah, we'll take that under advisement.
I would like to see that. Yes,
I got to rewatch the Sting. It's very entertaining.
And while The French Connection is a quintessential 70s film based in the 70s, set in the 70s, and filmed in the 70s, the movie we're doing next is it's a well-known 90s movie, but it is actually based in the 1950s. As David, do you remember what we're doing next?
No.
We're doing The Bride of Frankenstein. No, we're doing from 1997. We are doing the Curtis Hanson. Who the hell's that? Curtis Hanson film L.A. Confidential.
Really? Good movie.
I haven't seen that movie in so long. I know it's based on the James Ellroy novel because that's
put that on the poster.
Telling me there.
Dave Cassetto says, "Good movie."
Good movie.
Guys, listen. I didn't bring much today because I'm literally almost in a coma.
David, that's okay. Did you rip it up on the slopes?
So here's the thing, right? It was so snowy out today.
Yeah.
The trails were not groomed very well, so it was just a lot of unpacked snow. And I did very well.
Naturally.
I did fine. I was fine. But I ate it once.
Oof.
And when I ate it fucking
Do you
hard.
wear a helmet?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I fucking
keep that as the closing, Mikey.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, hard. It was it hurt. I literally was like, I was shell shocked, and I'm like, all right, I gotta get down the mountain. I gotta get down the mountain without killing myself anymore.
Jesus,
it was bad. It was a bad. You couldn't see anything. The visibility was terrible.
I was driving back.
Terrible. 2 or 3 hours.
What is? Didn't you know snow was coming?
Yeah, that's why we wanted to go because we were like, oh, it'll be great. It wasn't so great. I fucking I took a gummy before we even went, so I was a little high.
So that's good. So how many people you had in the car? Oh my God.
I was high while I was snowboarding.
High on life. Oh yes, very good.
High on life, dummy.
Man, if people didn't
don't
think you were
worry,
a creep
this can't be used. Yeah. Oh, they did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Now they think you're I don't know.
But I got up and went. I'm 50 years old. I fucking took a fucking header and I still got up and went.
50 years old. Know what?
That
50 years old.
50 years old. 50 50.
Live your best life.
That's right, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing, guys. That's what I'm doing.
Height is just a number. Now, all right. So you can find us on Blue Sky. That's where we really are, man. Fine Movies on Blue Sky. On Instagram at Fine Movies, Fine Spirits. David, where can we find you?
In my bed.
In your bed. Hopefully you get some sleep tonight. Christopher, are there any parting words from you?
Nope. Just still shell-shocked from that pod listening to about poor Skipper.
Poor Skipper.
And
latex poisoning.
And Dave talking to my stepmom.
Yep.
his
Sad thing is, I've
sexual
heard him talk about
positions.
this for decades. I wasn't there. My brother was there, but I've heard him. It's like lore.
Oh, it's Sean Corey.
Yeah, it's like lore in our circles.
Would you call it lore?
Literally spit all his food out across the table. It was hilarious.
He's probably disturbed by it.
All my mother could say was, "Oh, David, stop that!"
What a guy!
I'm sorry I brought it up.
All right, David. Any parting words from you?
No, I'm going to bed.
We talk about great movies while drinking. We talk about great movies while drinking. Yeah, we talk about great movies while drinking. And we feel fine.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
Great. Yeah, you sound great.
How's that? You using your new microphone?
No.
I run his voice through an AI every single time to
Really?
AI audio enhancer. Yes.
That explains a lot of what he says.
I'm not experts.